makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States?
She's not. She didn't go through the voting process. They scared of the system, but I was all by design.
So how do you think it's even possible that she is now running for president when she wasn't even voted in to be the electoral?
Good question. Because
to be the person.
Because it's part of prophecy. If you look at like Egyptian, Kamala means lotus flower. Out of the lotus flower comes the sun god Ra. So what she's going to bring what he wanted. Back in the day, the sun god, along with Akhenaten, they were the rulers of the dynasty back in the day. They're going to bring economic doom because what you have to do, you have to destroy it before you rebuild it. They're gradually doing it now. That's why they got to have these conventions, because they need you to make a covenant with them and be in agreement with them to move forward. That's all this is. It's an exercise to participate in your own doom.
Okay.
This whole system was not built for American citizens. It was built for secret groups to run it.
CNN just confirmed that Kamala Harris told over 7 straight-up lies during the debate with Trump. The first thing Kamala tried to claim was that Trump would sign a full baby deletion ban if Trump was in office, which CNN themselves confirmed that Trump has never said. Second thing Kamala tried to claim was that Trump left office with the worst unemployment rate since the Great Depression, which CNN confirmed was false. He actually left office with unemployment just at 6.4%. Then she tried to claim that today there's 0 U.S. active military in war zones across the world, which CNN said, actually no, there's 2,500 troops currently in Iraq and a bunch more under fire in the Middle East. Oh, and it gets better, because she said only small businesses would be able to use the $50,000 tax deduction, but she failed to mention that any business that fails before they turn a profit won't qualify for this. The list goes on. She then tried to say that Trump lost manufacturing jobs during his presidency, but CNN said no, actually that was all because of COVID. It had nothing to do with his policies. Oh, and she tried to say the Trump administration had the highest trade deficit in history, but then CNN said no, actually it was higher under Biden and Kamala. It was over $1 trillion. Last but not least, she tried to claim that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Trump immune from any sort of misconduct, which CNN confirmed that's false. He can still be prosecuted for any unofficial acts.
We were born with the right to reproduce. Like, how do you have to have permission to reproduce? What they're fighting for is permission to stop the reproduction of what they produce. They say they're fighting for women's rights, but you have to be born in order to become a woman, right? I can't support the type of women's rights that execute the women of tomorrow. But not only that, educating myself to know that 80% of abortion clinics are strategically placed in Black communities for a reason. All of this is strategic.
80%?
80% of all abortion clinics, all Planned Parenthood clinics are in Black communities. We get abortion clinics, they get fertility clinics.
And they get most of the funding, right?
During COVID, they got $80 billion. You know, COVID was a time when they shut down everything. You remember they shut down the churches, they shut down the school, they shut down your businesses. They said you got to stay 6 feet apart. You know what didn't get shut down during COVID? The abortion clinics in the Black communities. There were no health restrictions when you went in there. No restrictions because of COVID. They wasn't turning you away because you didn't have a COVID shot. They wasn't turning you away if you didn't sit 6 feet away from somebody or if you didn't have on a mask. We do these people a favor when we terminate Black life.
The internet has been ablaze with video after video of people criticizing Kamala Harris, accusing her of not being for Black people, right? And the question I have is that, like, why do so many people still believe because a person has Black skin, they're for Black people?
You know, for the life of me, I can't get this. This is like, you know, Obama all over again. And I'll be honest, I think the reason is because we're emotional, right? We're not fact-based. We're more based off of emotion. We're in a day and age where people are more concerned about the racism that they're never going to be able to rid, right? Than they are about the pedophilia that's sleeping itself through our government, right? That's an issue for me. And I think that when you ask people what type of policy is Kamala Harris running on, they can't say anything. The only reason they want to vote for her is because she's Black. And then what gets me is you're telling me that I'm supposed to choose this woman just because she's Black. Well, you know, everybody's pro-Black until it's time to marry and procreate, right? She didn't choose Black. when it was time for her to preserve the black family, but I'm supposed to believe that I'm supposed to choose black for her to preserve the black family in the White House. We're not doing that. If she didn't have to choose black, then we don't have to choose black either. So we need to get off of this whole thing, oh, they're just going to do something for us because they're black. Well, maybe if she would have picked a black man or had a black kid, I probably could support that. But the fact that you are on an HBCU tour telling young black women to abort their children while you're raising white children, that's an issue for me. That should be an issue for black America. Because y'all remember back in the day of slavery, we couldn't keep our kids, but you'll see them white kids sucking down the titties, getting breastfed. And we're not going to abort our children and raise theirs.
Hold on. I just want to jump back. And she was on her HBCU tours.
Yeah.
She's promoting abortion?
Yeah.
Like direct? Indirect? Is it?
She wasn't at Yale. She wasn't at Dartmouth. She wasn't at, Princeton. She was at the HBCUs at a tour, a reproductive rights tour, telling young black women to abort their children while she's raising her white husband's 2 white children. So why are we sacrificing our children for other children?
But what word does she use? She wasn't out there saying abortion, was she?
I mean, what is reproductive rights? What is reproductive rights? Everything they've ever told us, we know that it's backwards, right? So what is reproductive rights? Let's be real. What is it? Right. Your right to do what? Kill a baby, because it ain't your right to have one. Okay? So whether they change the word, they make it nice, like before it was, colored women. Now they saying women of color. Right? It's the same thing, to just change the words. Right? It's supposed to be birth control, but it's really control birth to control the birth rate. Right? It's supposed to be Planned Parenthood, but it's really Parenthood planned. Okay, God planned for you to have this baby at this time, but now you're going to let these people tell you, no, God ain't on time. I'm going to send that one back and have another one when I'm ready. Planned Parenthood is Parenthood paying. It ain't God's design.
Why do you disagree with people who say that Donald Trump is not a racist?
I just don't believe that the man is a racist. This is just my personal belief because I have a personal relationship with Donald J. Trump. Okay, and it's beyond the media, it's beyond any type of, clips that somebody may have cut and tried to put something or perceive something a different way. If any of us do our research, we know that Donald Trump wasn't accused of being a racist prior to his run for office. Donald Trump was at the Michael Jackson trial with him every single day. I mean, Donald Trump ran with some of everybody, Diddy, 50 Cent. He's on the Wu-Tang Clan album. This is the same Donald Trump that when Jennifer Hudson's family was murdered, he put her up for 6 months, in Trump Tower. This is the same Trump that sent his private jet, all the way over to get Nelson Mandela when he was released from prison. This is the same Trump that gave me a full and unconditional pardon, pardon Kwame Kilpatrick, released 3,100 people from prison, in one day, July 19, 2019. I mean, if that's the type of racism we have to deal with, I'll take it, But one of the things I don't agree with, is his position on giving immunity, to all police officers. I don't think that we're going to agree with any candidate, on everything. And that's another reason why I'm independent now.
Are we still making decisions based on the color of someone's skin? Let's talk about it. So there's people that are actually going to vote for Kamala Harris because of the color of her skin. They're saying she's black, she's a black woman, and she looks like them, and that's why they're voting for her. They've said that. There's people on this app that are upset because the reparations bill didn't get passed, and they feel like black people, descendants of slaves, should be paid reparations because their ancestors built the country for free. And at the same time, people of color want to be treated fairly, and they want TikTok to treat them fairly. So tell me why there's a girl named Kylie Pitts who went a little viral on here, had like 40,000 followers in 11 days, bought a house and a car, and people of color are upset because of that. There's no one at TikTok HQ looking at videos saying we're going to let them go viral because of the color of their skin. There's no need for a black TikTok. Now there's a hashtag Black Pack where the content creators of color are going to come together and support each other. What's the, I don't understand that. You want to be treated fairly, but then you single out someone who doesn't look like you because they're successful and have been on TikTok for years and have dedicated their time to work on their page and have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views and millions of views before anyone said she went viral. She been viral. And you guys are upset about that. But you're creating division by creating hashtag Black Pack, hashtag Black TikTok. But at the same time, you want to be treated fairly. At the same time, you're going to vote for someone because they're a person that looks like you. And at the same time, you want reparations because your ancestors, you think, built this country and you should be paid for it. Make it make sense.
Yeah, it's going to be a no for us. Sorry. The whole video, all I heard from you was, you don't vote for her, you're a white supremacist. How dare you not vote for a woman? You should vote for a woman because she's a woman and because of the color of her skin. Not once. Oh, and then you tried to insult us saying that our men are going to tell us who to vote for. That's what we just heard from you. That was your whole speech on why we should vote for Kamala Harris. You know, sorry. Because she's an educated woman? I don't even give a fuck about her affair. I don't care. I don't know how you guys on the left don't understand that I don't care who the president sleeps with. What I care about is he going to be hired to do the job to fix this shithole that this Democrat Party has got us into. Okay? But all we're hearing from you is you don't listen to your husband who's going to force you to vote because apparently we don't have minds of our own, according to people like you. But hey, guess what? We do. We're actually intelligent women over here. But we're not going to be voting for someone because of the color of her skin. What has she done policy-wise as vice president? I can tell you what she's done as a senator, which is lock up a lot of the melanated sisters, brothers, all of that you just basically said for ridiculous shit. I can show you people that were this close to being executed on death row because she withheld evidence, DNA evidence. And there's a lot of our melanated sisters and brothers that are coming out on this app saying absolutely not to Kamala Harris. But what I'm done listening to is liberal white women try to force us to vote for someone because of the color of their skin and the fact that she's a woman. Listen, I would love to see a woman president someday, but it needs to be like a Margaret Thatcher type of woman, not Kamala Harris. She's done nothing for this country. And you have to understand that she sat right next to Joe Biden knowing full well that he had full-blown dementia and lied to every single one of us. And what did she do as vice president? Her one and only job was securing the border. Did she do that? Abso-fucking-lutely not. 16 million people that now our inner cities like Chicago and LA and New York are going bankrupt because they have to take money away from programs that help minority communities and the poor communities to house all these people. But you want me to vote for her because she's a black woman. The answer is no. I'm sorry. And you can't gaslight us into it. The most offensive thing that you said, honest to God, was that all these white Christian men are going to be telling us who to think for and who to vote for. Like we don't have fucking minds of our own. We do, sweetheart. We got minds of our own. We are businesswomen out here. I'm a 3-time business owner and a happily married woman. Nothing you just said in this video makes me want to vote for Kamala Harris simply because of the color of her skin and the fact that she's a woman. And how many of you guys have just absolutely just fell right into track? She sat right next to Joe Biden, just so you're clear on that, knowing full well that his mind was gone and lied to everybody. And now you're watching the mainstream media gaslight the fuck out of all of us like we're a bunch of idiots, like we're stupid, like we didn't see this man had full-blown dementia. And now that same media who told us he was mentally fit for the job is trying to tell us that something is inherently wrong with us. And if we don't vote for her, we're fucking white supremacists? Because that's exactly what you just said. Or we're internal misogynists. I'm so done with this shit. I really am. I'm sorry that your whole idea of who should lead the free world is simply wrestled down to the fact that she's got a vagina and the color of the melanin in her skin. But I'm sorry, over here, this country is in seriously bad standing. And I'm going to tell you something on a domestic and a foreign way. We are looking very weak. We just had 2 Russian and 2 Chinese bombers flying around in international space that Alaska and U.S. had intercepted. The Chinese government has been able to buy up land all around our secure military strategic bases. Our enemies are watching us right now, and they are watching the absolute shit show that you want us to support for another 4 years. Do you think we want another 4 years of what we just been through? And we should, because of what? She's a woman? As vice president, she didn't do shit for this country. They sent her on little luncheons and made her do little speeches, go sit on The View, go on this radio talk show, go on this podcast. That's what she's done as vice president. That is her whole record. And as a senator and as a prosecutor, it didn't look too good. The reason she is where she is because people voted because of skin color and the fact that she was a woman. How did that work out for us the last 4 years? It didn't. We have a 50-year high inflation. Interest rates are at all-time high. Americans are struggling to pay for housing, food, gas, jobs. That is what we care about as women. That's important to us. The fact that 16 plus million people that don't belong here, that a large portion of them have committed crimes against women and children, that were led into this country, that our tax dollars are being forced to pay for while we try to survive in a 50-year high inflation. But yes, we are white supremacists if we don't vote for Kamala Harris. So please, stop. Stop, lefties. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter. I don't care if Beyonce came out. I don't care if Taylor Swift eventually comes out, because you guys are foaming at the mouth trying to force her to make a decision and come out and support Kamala. Come on, Taylor, we need you. No. And again, I would love to see a woman president. I would love it. Queen Elizabeth, Margaret Thatcher type women all day long. But I am not supporting somebody simply because of the color of her skin and the fact that she is a woman. And the fact that you think that our men make decisions for us, I can promise you, sweetie, they don't. And in case TikTok wants to come at me because someone gets their feelings hurt and says that I'm bullying or this is, harassment, it's not. I think she's a beautiful young woman, but I'm not going to be pushed into voting for someone simply because of the color of their skin or the fact that they're a woman. I care more about the state of this country right now, and it doesn't look good, and our enemies are paying attention. And that woman stood right next to all the mainstream media, every single Democrat, every single politician, and told us for the last 4 years that Joe Biden's mental state was completely fine. He's doing cartwheels in the White House, when we all saw that he wasn't. We're tired of the gaslighting. We're tired of the lying, and we're not going to be gaslit anymore. That's why Donald Trump is still way up in the polls over Kamala Harris. No matter how many liberal women get on this app and speak to us like we're fucking stupid and that our men do our thinking for us, sorry, it's a no. And I see thousands of women saying the same thing. And I mean thousands. You know who supports Kamala Harris? The same people who support the stuff that you support. That's who supports it. Real patriotic American women, we see this for exactly what it is. The media, the Democrat Party, and the DC political class that have run this country into the ground trying to prop up another candidate that the people didn't vote for. And no, because you voted for Joe Biden, she doesn't just get a free pass for votes. That's not how that works. You guys want to have your votes taken away from you, that's fine. Say what you want about Donald Trump. You don't like him, Trump derangement syndrome, that's fine, but we chose him. That was our vote. And is he perfect? Not by a fat chance. Is he made mistakes? Absolutely. Is he going to get our vote? 100%. And I will not be gaslit over female or skin color by liberal white women. I'm not going to do it. And yes, like I said, one more time, I would love to see a female president, and it's not going to be Kamala Harris. And I don't care what you guys say to us. Honestly, it's not going to happen. I hope you have a wonderful day. And TikTok, before you come at me with bullying and harassment, this is not bullying and harassment. This is me answering. She said, white women, come to the front. We got to have a conversation. So this is a white woman coming to the front, having a conversation and saying it's a big fuck no for me. Good talk.
Are we going to have to start looking at cackling the commie Kamala through a totally different lens? You are not going to believe what I just found on X. So a bunch of people have been tipping me off recently to the, let's call it the saucy state of mind of Kamala the commie Harris. So I decided to go to X and see what I could find. And you got to see this. And folks, these accounts are everywhere on X right now. And apparently this has been a thing for a while. I don't know how I missed it. Aides apparently having a hard time keeping her sober. Many in her campaign are struggling to keep her out of the limelight because of her condition when she gets off of planes. And apparently she goes on binges just about all the time. So I decided to go back and pull some of her old video clips and see if it makes sense. And man, I mean, as somebody who's been through that myself, I don't know how I missed the telltale signs. This woman is sloshed.
I think it is important to look at folks like Haley and Kelly and also say we're going to take note of the fact that during the pandemic, over 2 million people, 2 million women people.
Did she just step out of a nightclub?
And as a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch.
Is she hanging out with her friends, drinking a bottle of wine?
Turn that off. There is this wonderful word that has a great meaning, and it's called hypothesis.
Tell us.
Which means
Can
that you have an
it?
idea, and
Can
then
you put
it
your
is
words
well
together for us?
accepted. It will be tested. And then you will learn whether it was correct or not, but there will be no pride associated with the hypothesis.
What?
Because after all, it was a hypothesis.
Right.
And then you will reconvene and then create a new hypothesis.
Right.
Oh, but you got to see this last one. I mean, something's not right.
No, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
And then I came across this, and it makes it sound like maybe we're the only ones who are left out of the joke.
You can't understand the two sentences she puts together. So, you know.
By the way, what?
Yeah.
But Judge,
What?
what excuse? He has an excuse. What's hers?
I don't know. I have an idea, but I'm not going to say it in public. I think she likes to have
boy.
a good time,
Oh, boy.
okay?
Why does it seem like everyone in Washington already knows this about her, but none of us do? Folks, are we getting ready to potentially elect somebody who can't seem to keep themselves sober? Are we sure we want to do that? Doesn't sound like the best idea with somebody that's going to end up having the nuclear codes and having control of an economy that she plans on plunging into communism. I mean, if you're going to have a ruling elite party that's going to dominate every aspect of the economy, wouldn't you want them to be in their right mind when they're doing it? This is a really bad idea.
Hello, everybody. Let me tell you about Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. He's bad as they come. Far super left. He allowed the city of St. Paul and Minneapolis to burn down to the ground on the George Floyd lie. They destroyed St. Paul. They destroyed my community. They destroyed Minneapolis. Many lives was lost. Many minority businesses destroyed. It was a coordinated effort how they had everything going. They had Black Lives Matter there. They had Antifa there. They allowed them to run the city free range. They told the police officers to stand down. Down the street, me and other residents was taking down tag numbers. We handed over to the St. Paul Police Department. Nothing never came about it. And it was a coordinated attack on everybody in those cities. They had everything set up. I had to sit out on my front porch with my ARs and all my guns to protect my family, protect our property, because that governor would not do his damn job. And I'm going to tell you, it was like a war zone. 4 nights, you could hear helicopters hovering, smoke filled the air, sirens going off daily. They didn't do a damn thing. And she picked him as vice president. Let me tell you another hitch on that. Kamala Harris even sponsored the Freedom Fund to get those people, bail them out of jail once they got captured. They working together to destroy America. Do not let them fool you. They do not care about you or our American way of life or our freedom. Thank you.
So I just got some new information that Kamala Harris's interview with CNN wasn't 18 minutes. It was 41. And the only reason you didn't see those other 22 minutes was because the Kamala Harris campaign objected to over 50% of the footage. And of course, being CNN, they took all that stuff out. Thankfully, we have some leaks about the questions CNN asked her that she had removed. And the most hilarious one was when Dana Bash directly asked her, how can you fully support the Green New Deal and now support fracking? Apparently, Kamala Harris sat there silently for about a full 10 to 15 seconds. And then she responded with, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Which part are you going to get done, Kamala? Because a big part of the Green New Deal is no more fracking. And if you're doing fracking, you're not doing the Green New Deal. You can't have two opposing things and say, we'll get it done. But yeah, that's just a preview of the bullshit Kamala Harris had them take out of the interview. I have to say that the rest of it that was taken out must be pretty fucking bad, because what they chose to keep in was awful.
Clark County Communications.
And ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there had been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed.
Yes, ma'am. I got a question. This is a non-emergency line, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today. And I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 in the license plate, but I got the numbers. The last numbers was 9898, and it was a gray Toyota Tacoma they took off on.
Go like this. Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? Did you guys see all this?
No, we pulled up and she was just laying there with him.
Did you see her eating it?
Eating it.
She was eating it?
Yeah, she was.
You call the Humane Society, see if they'll come pick this cat up. It's deceased.